America. A land filled with promise where no one would go hungry. Where wheat and corn fields in combination of a farmer's harvest becomes its own bounty to feed a nation. America, where our history records the Great Depression when people went hungry. And yet, in this land of plenty, would we ever think that many still go hungry and food security is a daily challenge?
There's an assumption that everybody has enough to provide for the basic necessities, but that's not true. There are many people in the community that don't have enough to provide the basic necessity of food.
Everyone has a right to eat, to have food, and Yad Ezra provides that service for the community.
Sometimes you find yourself in a situation that in a million years you never dreamed that you would be in. So it's not always easy to say, oh, it's their fault.
Yad Ezra's America, where feeding the hungry began in 1990, answering the call, filling the void for those in the Jewish community.
My history with Yad Ezra goes back to the actual founding of the organization. And there were several of us who got together, and we saw a need in the community for a kosher food pantry. 5 of us took it the first step, but believe me, it was a lot more than 5 of us who took it to where it is today.
Yad Ezra's America, 26 years later, is still a Jewish kosher food pantry, carrying the designation as a food emergency responder. No one is turned away.
You know, Yad Ezra has been a phenomenal partner here for Mother's Pantry. We understand the needs of individuals in Wayne County and Oakland County and elsewhere here in southeastern Michigan, whether it's at a part-time basis or in more of a long-term sustainable need.
When you see a problem, you need to tackle it. Even if you're not quite sure what you need to do.
Inkster needs a lot of help. They approached us a year ago, and we were very enthusiastic and energized to help this community.
And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yad Ezra helps us meet the need for the pantry. Till we be out of food in here, and they very important to this pantry. And they have been a blessing to us.
For many in our community, the struggle still continues.
Not everybody is in a position to provide for themselves, and it's not due to because they don't want to, but they can't, and we need to continue our work.
I was living in VA's homeless shelters. I actually have a disabled vet status. It barely covers the bills I pay. I had no food in my house at all. And just to get my power turned back on, I had no food and there was nowhere else I could go.
You can make a food delivery to a house, and the outside of the house looks beautiful. You walk into that house, and you go into the kitchen, and the cupboards are bare. There is nothing there.
But sometimes the difference between do they get medication or do they get food. In this case, they can do both.
Responsive and mission-focused, Yad Ezra is in the epicenter of the food challenges that face our metropolitan area.
The organization is specifically focused on helping the needy in the area of nutrition, in the area of food security, and keeping it with the Jewish spirit and the Jewish identity by providing only kosher food. You are obligated to help as a Jew.
The ability to do a mitzvah every single day is extremely rewarding. Just energizes you just to be able to do something like this.
Whether it is the monthly distribution of food to 1,300 families, representing 3,000 individuals, to the distribution of food for the Jewish holidays, Yad Ezra has provided in its 26 years over 18 million pounds of food. From kosher to non-kosher food, exchanges between food banks and pantries, such as Gleaner's Community Food Bank of Southeast Michigan, Yad Ezra continues to fulfill its mission.
Yad Ezra is a crucial piece of the puzzle in getting food to southern Oakland County.
We do receive food that is not kosher, and we share those products with other non-kosher pantries so they can put it into their own supply chain.
Without them, we probably wouldn't be able to get anywhere near as much food into that area of need as we can.
So if non-Jews come to us for help, we don't turn them away. Part of the Jewish leave the world better than you found it is the whole idea of being part of the greater community.
Ever watchful and without exception, Yad Ezra also assists communities such as Ann Arbor, Flint, and even Windsor, Ontario, as well as Jark and Kadima homes.
There are about 51 families in Ann Arbor that get food from us once a month, and so we're pre-packing the dry goods.
During the middle of the week, they will pack the perishables. Once that is done, the truck will then depart and the delivery is made to a central location in Ann Arbor.
Dignity and privacy are the watchwords guiding the ethical behaviors of over 150 regular volunteers, representing up to 3 generations and 2 million hours of volunteering over a 26-year period.
We do such a great job, it almost seems like everything just happens, but it doesn't.
One of the things that makes Yad Ezra really unique is the size of the organization. There's less than 6 people full-time that work for Yad Ezra. It's always looked to do what's next, what's better.
Almost all of the money that's donated to Yad Ezra goes directly into client services.
I remember my kids being here when they were 5, 6, 7 years old, helping sort kosher and non-kosher food. And I've seen people, grandparents and great-grandparents, that come here every single week, and this is part of their life.
Each volunteer, in their own way, has helped to fulfill the mission of Yad Ezra, taking it to the top of the prestigious list on Charity Navigator.
We have a 100% rating for financial transparency. We provide for others. That's who we are as a people, and it's in our DNA.
From the only drive-up window in the country to deliveries for the homebound, to client-selected groceries, dignity and privacy is paramount.
When people come in and they're asking for food to feed their children, it's got to be very, very hard for them. And the way they are treated makes a big difference.
It's the voice heard in years of letters and thank you notes that speak to the vital importance of Yad Ezra.
My uncle had a stroke at the age of 39 and was left incapacitated. He had no job, no money, and turned to Yad Ezra for help. Our family has never forgotten your kindness, and now
I was laid off and alone and didn't have any friends or family in the area. I was desperate. I came to Yad Ezra for help and was a client for 3 months. I'm doing better and can give back what I can.
With 3 young children trying to make ends meet. Providing my children with nutritious food has been such a blessing. I hope one day I can repay you for your support. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I was especially touched by the kindness and respect from everyone, as I'm not Jewish. I didn't know what to expect coming to a kosher pantry. Health permitting, I would like to volunteer at Yad Ezra.
Thank you, Yad Ezra, for food and for my Hanukkah gift. It made me so happy. I love you.
Yad Ezra, in fulfilling its mission, has also become an example of best practices through outstanding innovations and projects. The Michigan Opera Theater Partnership, for collaboration and awareness, continues to expand its mission.
Yad Ezra being one of our very important partners it's an opportunity for us to acknowledge the work, the important work that's taking place in our respective areas, and to be able to see how we might learn from each other.
This was an opportunity for us to step outside that box. We're all trying to make the world a better place in our own different ways. And the fact that we can work with each other to share ideas, best practices, it was a wonderful and amazing experience, and I'm so excited that it's continuing.
The Giving Gardens provides an opportunity to teach about the growing and harvesting of food to children with the support of volunteers.
The Giving Gardens is a way for people to give, and I think the Giving Gardens is also a way for people to give back.
Food is not a luxury. Food is a basic human need. Children will be able to come here and volunteer and support that. But at the end of the day, there's also going to be a 10% tithe to the city of Inkster, which I think is just amazing.
Ecumenical groups in a shared effort focusing on anti-hunger issues, and the Hunger Seder attended by Michigan's multicultural community and congressional leaders.
A time to remember that although we may have enough food here, these empty plates will remind us that there are those who are not filled, who are not satiated.
Let's read together these modern day 10 plagues when we're talking about food insecurity. Let's read these together. Number 1, a single mother.
No one deserves to be hungry. And just as we partner with many other anti-hunger agencies and we advocate on behalf of those who are hungry, even the focus of our Haggadah this year being on the veterans is not necessarily a Jewish theme. This goes beyond religious convictions.
Yad Ezra's America continues its mission that began in 1990 to take its clients from bare cupboards to filled shopping baskets.
Today we had over a dozen volunteers that wear these badges and volunteer their time to help fill these baskets for all our families that got to pick the food that they wanted. And we at Yad Ezra feel good that these families will not be going hungry tonight.